Assalamualaikum everyone. Let us continue our lecture with microreplication topics. Let's see what is microreplication. Microreplication is a process where you create the microcavity via several processes. You might use micro EDM or FIB, and then you replicate the microcavity into the multiple part. So this replication can be performed in injection molding, micro injection molding, and hot embossing process. So micro molding generally copy the mold shape directly. So meaning that you create the mold and then you get the final shape. Okay, so the copying time is very short and independent of the geometry and complexity of the product. So it's supposed to be very fast. Okay, so but the development of and implementation for this process will require a variety of different tasks. For example, modification of mold machine, fabrication of micro mold insert, investigation of suitable simulation techniques, screening of polymer and other materials, and also development of quality control system. So considering the quality of the product that need to be created by the micro molding, so we cannot avoid to do the modification from the conventional one. So because of the small dimension, high precision of micro mold insert, so modification of conventional machine is essential. So in contrast to the conventional molding machine, micro molding machine should have some features. Okay, so for example, heating unit to control the mold temperature, no slit to escape the trapped air, vacuum system to suck out the trapped air, special ejection unit to separate the micro component from lateral offset, and also high precision control of parameter. In micro injection molding, variothermal process is the well-known process. Okay, so the mold temperature should be as high as the polymer processing temperature, and the mold cavity should be evacuated using an external evacuation system. So this phenomenon is reported as temperature variation program, what we call as variothermal process. So here is the picture showing the injection molding process. So these techniques play the dominant role for production of micro component of low viscosity polymer. So during this process, high pressure around 50 to 200 MPa is applied to inject the polymer. So this one, there will be a high pressure to inject the polymer into this microcavity. So the microcavity represent a blind hole which is filled from the face. Okay, so this is the molded part that we want to produce here. So the entire process is to be carried out under biothermal condition. Okay, so you already the biothermal condition is already described in the previous slide. So the melt temperature should be near to the maximum process temperature of the polymer to be replicated. Okay, so that's the biothermal condition. So when the micro cavity fill in properly into the mold half were to be separated at appropriate temperature without any lateral offset. Okay, so you can see the process, the whole process in the video link that provided. So here are some of the apparatus or devices used in the micro injection mold. Okay, so the plate micro injection mold with external heating unit. Okay, and then this is how the process will look like. This picture shows the microcavity for the micro injection molding, and their replica will look like this one. So this is a comparison of the micro gear if you compare it to the next to the end head. So and also this one is the human hair. So you can see that the different how much the size can be so small, that can be performed using this process. Here are some collection of product that produced via the micro injection molding process. You can look into the videos in the link below also, so that you can understand more on the topic. For micro hot embossing, a plate-shaped semi-finished thermoplastic is microstructured by a hot mold insert. So the plastic sheet and the mold insert will be heated to the same hot embossing temperature. And then if we compare it to the micro injection molding, setup time and of micro hot embossing is shorter, and the cost also will be lower. So this technique is mainly applied for small series production. Let us see the schematic diagram for the micro hot embossing tool. So if you can see in here, so there will be a heating subsystem on the bottom and top part. Okay, and then there are also cooling subsystem, and here is the die for the embossing. Okay, and then there will be a mini vacuum chamber over here for the process to be taken out, the area where we want to perform the embossing. And then there are also other than that, we also have forcing subsystem, control subsystem, and also clamping mechanism. Let's see the step of the embossing process, the hot embossing process. So if you can see here, this is the setup. So this is the mold where the shape of the part that we want to create. So this is the polymer film that we're going to make the replication. Okay, so then there will be heating of the mold and the substrate plate up to the molding temperature. So then embossing, where the velocity and force is controlled. Okay, so then they'll be going down, and then when you take out the clamp and this die, so what happen is the final product will follow the mold that's already created. Okay, so this is how the hot embossing is performed. The setup will be almost like this one. Okay, so it's more like the stamping arrangement. Okay, so this is how the embossing will follow also. Here showing the example of the plate with the hot embossed microprism array. So if you can see the texture is very small, it's smaller than the 1 mm texture. Here is the example of the micro lens that fabricated by the micro hot embossing. Okay, so if you can see, the dimension of this one is around 1 mm. And here is another example. So if you can see, this is the product that created. So if we enlarge it, it look like this one. So they follow this shape. Okay, so but in the small scale lah. Okay, I can't find a lot of video on the embossing process, the micro embossing process, but the process shown in this video is showing the process clearly, so you can look into the video. So that's the end of micro replication topic, and also the end of micro manufacturing technology for this semester. Thank you for your cooperation during this COVID-19 time. I hope everyone will pass this subject with flying color. Thank you. Assalamualaikum.